Welcome back to the Wedding Buzz. It's your host, Sydney, and today's guest is Natalie Harmon from Amrit Ocean Resort and Residencies and Harmon Consulting Group, one of South Florida's premier luxury oceanfront wedding destinations and consulting firms. Located on Singer Island, Amrit combines breathtaking ocean views, elevated hospitality, and wellness focused guest experience unlike anything else in Florida. So, hi, Natalie. Thank you so much for
Hi.
being here today.
I am glad to be here.
I'm so glad that we can make this happen. Tell me a little bit more about the Amrit Ocean Resort and Residencies.
Well, Amrit is really a really unique boutique hotel. It has something that most of them don't have, a 103,000 square foot wellness facility, which is just super cool. When you imagine a spa, I call it a spa on steroids. It is literally 4 stories. I think it took me at least a week to just not get lost.
Yeah.
Although, who wouldn't want to get lost in the spa?
That's true.
They also have a very unique focus on holistic well-being, which is just something you don't find every day.
hmm I had the pleasure of touring the entire property, but the spa a few months ago, and I was just like, I haven't gone for a treatment yet, and I need to. I'm like, I just want to stay there all day.
It
It's
just gives you such
stunning.
a relaxation feeling. I
Mhm.
learned something the other day. Our general manager was talking about something, and he said, "Did you know when they built the buildings, there's crystals in the buildings that promote peace and relaxation?" So I said, "Okay, I believe in holistic stuff. I didn't really realize it, but I always feel relaxed when I come here."
Yeah,
And now I'm like, maybe that's why.
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. I mean, it's just stunning and kind of what you said. It's not what you picture when you think of a spa. It's a spa on steroids. But
Yeah.
besides the spa, the entire property is absolutely gorgeous, right on the ocean. So how long have you guys been doing weddings and special events?
So it's been approximately 2 years. So very new hotel, very new to the venue business. And they officially opened their doors. I think it's been about a year and a half now. So,
Mm.
2 years was their soft launch. And they have been doing a lot of, retreats. That's a big thing. And very cool retreats they can do here, focused around yoga on the beach. Because one of the other unique things we have is a private beach. We
Mhm.
are one of the only hotels and venues in Palm Beach County, and I think probably the next one will be like an hour and a half north of here that has a private beach. So we have over 3,000 square foot of private beach to do events, ceremonies, anything your heart desires.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes such a big difference for a wedding specifically or other events, but specifically a wedding when it's a
Mhm.
private beach because I've done beach weddings before and you have like random people that just are walking in the background and,
Yeah.
there if it's a public beach, there's nothing I can really do. You would think that
The
people
men in
right?
Speedos. Isn't that the best one when you're doing a wedding? The man in the nice big blue Speedo walking by.
You think that they would have, like, common sense to not walk right by. Like, the ceremony is usually only 15, 20 minutes, but no, people like to walk right by. So,
Yeah.
that's such an amazing point that you guys have a private beach, because it just elevates the experience for the
And
couple.
we've done everything on there from, dinners,
Yeah.
anniversary dinners to, proposals and, cocktail parties. When they first opened, there was a big event where they brought tigers and,
Wow.
animals onto the beach. So, beautiful Indian event, Indian wedding. The barat was gorgeous and the
Wow.
animals were there.
That's so cool. I have not done a wedding with a tiger yet, but I'm gonna add that to my bucket
Bucket list? That's
Yeah.
your bucket list?
I've had
Yeah.
dogs at weddings, but not a tiger yet, but now it's on the list.
No, you gotta do it. Why
Yeah.
not?
So what's something that you love most about helping couples celebrate at this beautiful property?
I think it's the unique experience, In general, I love creating memories. Like you're part of somebody's memories forever and ever and ever. And it's just amazing. But here you can create a really unique experience. This becomes more of a wedding experience than just a wedding,
Yeah.
with all the different things we have to offer. And just think about your girls get to hang out and have a full day before the wedding. We have one of the only hammams in the area. So you and your fiance or groom after the wedding can have couples massages together and different things that even when I got married 25 years ago, now I'm telling my age,
Mhm.
I didn't get to do. So I always try to suggest things and say things and help couples do things that I didn't get to do that I
Yeah.
wish I'd have gotten to do.
I know. I see that couples sometimes are like so caught up in the rushing and the setup and the this or that, and it's really nice when when I have couples that take the weekend to just enjoy and go to the spa with your fiance or do, you know, all the girls go to the spa and the guys go golfing or something. But
Mhm.
it's really nice when they actually take time to make a weekend and soak it up. And this property has so many different things that they can do. Back to the spa, especially go to the spa. If you're listening, go
That's
to the
it. I
spa.
mean, that's really all you have to do. But it does come back to that where if you don't, put most of your budget into a wedding weekend, it's really nice to do that and the experiences. The day goes by so quickly.
Mhm.
And you've got your family in town and different things. I mean, we have 3 restaurants on site as well, and we have 3 different venues, actually. We have your typical ballrooms, which are beautiful. We have multiple ballrooms, multiple meeting spaces, but we also have Taza on the beach. And Taza on the beach is this really cool, unique spot that is covered plus outdoor. And if you were thinking luau or welcome party or rehearsal dinner, something unique and creative, it is just the best atmosphere for it.
Yeah.
Then we have air, and we actually can do traditional Indian food if you want that. And then we also have Tula, which is a gorgeous restaurant overlooking the ocean, and that can also be used for events up to 150 people.
Mhm. I think I think I forget which I ate at one of the restaurants, I forget which one. It was, like, on the same floor as the lobby right by the ocean.
Tula,
Tula. It was
beautiful view, right? Well, they both
beautiful.
have beautiful views, but
Yeah.
that just it like wraps around the ocean
Yeah.
wraps around you. So you sit there and enjoy your salad or your burger and you can just watch the ocean views.
Exactly. Yeah, I sat there and had lunch, and it was just so nice. But that's one thing that I did really love about the property is that your guests can come, they can stay at the property. You can do a rehearsal dinner, a welcome party, a brunch the next day. Like, you can do everything all at one place, but it's not like you're using the same space over and over again because you guys have so many different spaces that the welcome party can feel totally different than the brunch, but it's easy for your guests to come, stay, and enjoy the full weekend. Um,
Yeah, it's unique because we have the La La Lounge, which if you want to do an affordable wedding welcome for your guests when they come in, everybody can just gather in La, enjoy drinks. You can do your rehearsal, then you can go to your rehearsal dinner at either Air or Tula. What's really great is you can do a farewell brunch in Tula. We do the farewell brunches on the pool terrace. So a lot of different options here and not being corporately owned, but independently owned. We have a lot more play.
yeah,
So you can do your ceremony on the pool terrace. If you want to do it in Taza, on the private beach, we have another terrace outside of Air that you can do it at. So a lot of things, can be done here, which is really, really nice. And you're not cutting through all that red tape.
yeah, no, that's a very good point because there are lots of corporate rules, and I've had brides definitely be upset of corporate rules, which are there for a reason. I understand, but it's nice that you
I
guys.
know, yeah. But, as a planner, we all know. So when I did the packages here and created the wedding division here, I created it as a planner.
Yeah,
Like, what do my brides wanna see for
yeah,
25 years? What are they looking for?
yeah. No, that makes a big difference coming from, someone who's actually worked with brides, and from that perspective, it makes a big difference. What are some things that you feel that couples should prioritize when they're beginning their venue research?
First thing, focus on the value, not just the price. What is the best value you're gonna get for it? I think also nobody sets realistic expectations for their budget. You've got a lot of people that say, "Well, I've got 150 people, but I only wanna spend $10,000." In today's world, unfortunately, that's just not realistic.
Mhm.
And I always get that the venues or the vendors are too expensive. The reality of it is a wedding is a luxury.
Yeah.
No matter where you're looking at it, it's luxury. It's just not something you have to have,
Mhm.
but you want to have it. Ask what's included in the package and also watch out for that a la carte pricing because it adds up pretty quickly. So those are just a few things you definitely want to take a look at. and review your beverage packages carefully. Understand any of the add-ons and different stuff that needs to be done because a lot of places do the a la carte pricing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Budget is a hot topic that I have with couples every single day, and I feel for them because it is very expensive. And with this social media world of everyone's looking at, weddings, now it's not just your experience isn't just weddings that you've personally been to or maybe a wedding that you see in a magazine. It's we have access to what are people doing for weddings in Australia? What are people doing for weddings in Paris and London and like all over the world? And so it gives people these ideas of what they want to do, which is fabulous and it's stunning, but none of those pictures have a price tag on it. And it's always a harsh reality of how much things actually cost.
And
But
they want to do everything. You don't have to do everything in your wedding,
you
you
don't have
know.
to have tigers on the beach.
No. If it's not in the budget, it's okay.
Yes.
And games, and I hear a lot of like, "But I wanna entertain my guests." Well, I mean, they're entertained by your wedding. There's not I think they get so lost in the world of we have to entertain the guests with so many different things when, you have entertainment, you have music, you have food, you have drinking, you have dancing, the ceremony. They're there to celebrate you.
I totally agree. I've had exactly what you're talking about. If people want games, and sometimes it's like the guests don't even go do them. Like if there's good food and good drinks and good music and the day is flowing at a good pace, they're not gonna they don't need to play cornhole. Like
No.
that's not what they're really there to do. Um,
You
but
love those hearts where they write in the heart and they drop it in. I don't think I've had any of those ever be successful.
mm,
The guest book that's the heart, the
yep,
acrylic heart, you drop the little wood thing, pass
mm,
on it.
pass. I pass on all of the little things. To be honest, like I
Yeah.
think that at the end of wedding planning, some couples just feel like they don't have enough, so then they go on Etsy or wherever and just start buying more stuff. And I'm like, "Stop buying this stuff. It's more for you. It's more money that you're wasting. It's more for you to pack up. It's more to set up. It's more to clean up." And the guests ignore it. Like at the
I
end of the
don't like
night,
it.
it's like I had someone pack, but they packed like boxes, like candy boxes. There's almost like little like trick or treat boxes. And I mean, they made it cute and like wedding aesthetic, but at the end of the night, I
How
was
you had them all left, right? You were eating
I
candy for about a month?
yeah, I was like, "Here's all your candy left because your guest didn't want it," like,
The
that
candles, the little candles. I can't tell you, candles, bottle openers, coasters, all these things that you don't wanna clutter in your home. Don't waste the money on them. You're gonna save hundreds of dollars
yep,
and not have to worry about it.
yep, I 1,000% agree.
We could do a whole show just on that.
We 1,000% could. I need to start, like, but I don't wanna make my brides feel bad, so I'm not gonna post, like
I know, it's so hard, but we love you. We
yeah,
wanted you to be realistic.
yes, and, like, I feel bad. I'm like, "You spent money and time and all this, like, effort on this, and it's not appreciated." So,
Yeah.
yeah. One thing that you said, though, about, like, the packages and be careful to understand, like, fees. If you're listening, that is a big one when you're picking a venue to look at the fees. Are they included in the price? Are they in small, tiny print? Um, because it does add up fast. And when we're talking about budget, I think people sometimes when they're picking a venue, look at how much like the food and beverage prices are or like just the venue and they forget about everything else.
The
Like
service charge, that's a big one, and
mhm,
they think it's the tip. They think it's gratuity, and
mhm,
I think that is probably the one thing I run into with couples no matter what we're doing. Well, I tipped everybody. I paid the service charge. Your service charge is not your gratuity.
mhm.
And gratuity seems to be a very sensitive subject lately as well. I've seen feathers ruffled very badly over the gratuity part,
Yep,
and we've gotten away from, the gratuities, and I think that those are an important factor. It is part of your budget, and you can't leave it out. You do need to tip your vendors at the end of the night.
yeah,
It's just something that should be done, and I'm seeing a lot more vendors are adding it into their bill
yep,
to assure that they get it. So I think it's something you got to look at and know that standard across the board, whether you're doing outside catering or you're doing a venue, you're going to get hit with that service charge. It
yeah.
is standard.
Yes. And people see like a 24% service charge or something, but they don't take the time to actually calculate how much that is. And when you're spending $30,000, $40,000, and so on, 24% of that is a decent amount. So
It's
make
a
sure
nice little chunk.
it's a nice little chunk that they need to add on from the beginning. Um, what are some things that are commonly like overlooked, like details that couples forget to ask during a venue tour?
That's a good one because I think that some of these places
Mhm,
parking is definitely an issue. I had venues in New Orleans, they have no parking.
mhm,
So, big question you need to ask when you're dealing with, and even us, an oceanfront hotel, where do your guests park? You have to think of those things. So, we offer valet service. That's something that makes it number one, an added excellent, elegant tier for your guests
mhm.
that they can valet park and you don't have to worry about your car. You don't, just gives that nice little luxury, but you definitely want to find out about it. And if your venue is the parking lot is far from where the entrance is, look into valet services. It's definitely something nice for your guests. Just depends on where it is, but parking is a big one. Smoking policies, a lot of places are going no smoking. They're
Yeah.
going smoke free. We're a smoke free hotel, and it's really difficult. We have a ranch in Jupiter that they're smoke free. They have equestrian horses on property. And
Mhm.
when you find your guests smoking and they have to be told not, it's an uncomfortable situation. So those are things you want to know ahead of time. Put on your wedding website. Super
Understood.
important for your brides, for the brides to let their guests know this. Bridal suite accommodations. Those are also something you want to ask about. Make
Yes.
sure you're not stuck in an office that seconds as a bridal suite. I have venues that do that and it works for certain things, and it's okay to do that, but make arrangements for where you're going to do your hair and makeup. Make other arrangements to know those things. Everybody overlooks the groom. I always
Mm.
forget about our grooms.
Yeah.
Even as wedding planners, we don't deal with the grooms too much.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been dealing with them a little bit more, which is
I have
kind
too.
of right. You've noticed it just a little bit.
I've had some that are definitely more involved.
Yeah,
Um,
I've noticed it too. In 25 years, in the last year, I'd say maybe 2 out of every 5 weddings, I'm dealing with grooms. And I'm like,
yeah.
where did this come from? You guys are never around, you just show up the day of. I've actually,
Maybe like maybe a pro of the whole social media world and stuff is that we're adding experiences to the wedding. It's not
yeah,
just like, there's some flowers on the table, the end. Like we're making the whole weekend a thing and different experiences and there's ways to tie in the groom and make him feel special and um
you might
it's
want to keep
fun.
a handle on him too, because sometimes they'll think they go play golf the morning of, and then they have the like nice little sun,
Yeah.
for all your pictures. You gotta control the guys a little bit. I always say if the groom's suite is enclosed with no windows and not secluded or near something where they can see, you can't keep them trapped in a room. They
Mhm.
like to wander. Guys like to wander.
And
So
they're bored. Like
yeah,
they're not doing their hair and makeup. So
no.
gotta
So
entertain.
they like to wander around, and it's
Yeah.
a given. So think about those things. I think we kinda overlook that. And
Very.
then overnight guests, like, if you have guests coming into town, another thing people forget is if you pick a venue that's way out in the middle of Indian Town or way out in the middle of nowhere, how far do they have to trek to the hotel?
Mhm.
So now you've gotta look at transportation or you've gotta give them a heads up. So wedding guest portals are great now. They're developing those left and right and different things, your wedding websites and all that stuff to keep the things updated. But these are all things that I see everybody miss.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like, if they're flying in for the weekend and your venue is totally far away from the airport or anything, like, do they have a car? Do they have to Uber? They're at the end of the night, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, at the end of the night, is there going to be any Ubers available? Like, will an Uber come pick you up? Because I've had some locations that
At some where I've had to take guests back to the hotel personally because they couldn't get an Uber.
it's like,
So
and that your guest experience. Like, that's what they'll remember is how they felt. Was the day easy for them? Did things flow well, or was it clunky? And we don't want them to be stranded and the day just be clunky. So it's all good things to think about when you're picking a venue. How early do you suggest that couples begin looking for their venue?
this is going to be probably something I say that most people are like, she's crazy. Like, what? Honestly, 8 to 12 months.
Mm.
I know some people like to look sooner. But here's the other thing you've got to realize, and a lot of my venue owners are like, "I've got brides reaching out for 29. I don't have my pricing for 29." That's the thing you'll run into. Some of them will not take you more than a year out
Yeah.
because they don't know what their pricing is going to be next year. And then you sign a contract because you fall in love with the venue. And in that contract, in the small print, it says, we have the right to raise your rate for 28 or 29 or whatever it might be. And then you're signed into the contract and they tell you, I'm sorry, it's going to be another $5,000 this year for the venue. And you get hit with that expense. It is happening.
Mhm.
Um, 8 to 12 months now. I do see a lot of venues that probably don't have dates, but there are, there's those really popular venues that, they are booking people based on their name. People aren't going to tour it. They're not doing anything. They're calling up. Do you have my date? You have my date? I'll take it. There, there are some venues like that here
Yeah.
locally in Palm Beach County in South Florida that have that, they have that credibility, and that's wonderful. The other thing people forget is the closer to the wedding, if you're flexible on your date, they want to book your date.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get a better price between you and me. And I mean, summertime, you're obviously going to get a better price in general.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say that either, but it's true,
It's true.
the little
Yeah.
tricks.
Yeah.
But I think 8 to 12 months, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
With most of my
No,
brides, I think it's good.
I definitely agree. I think that when you get under that 8 months, when you're at, like, the 6-month mark, I mean, I've definitely done a
Mhm.
few weddings in the 6th month, but it's like, I feel bad because I'm like, "Hey, did you read that proposal? Hey, you don't have time to ponder
Y
on this."
You can't save money, you can't wait for the next paycheck, so there is that situation as well, so and I
Um,
get it.
but sometimes I've had couples book me about, like, 2 years in advance, and it's kinda like, "What should we be doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Like,
Absolutely nothing. We're
like,
good.
"We're good. We've booked all your vendors." Like, there's not much to
Yeah,
do, and
you're
then
fine, you enjoy yourself.
weirdly, trends change. So every time I have someone book way in advance, like, we're changing the floral proposal, we're changing
Mhm.
the colors because they have all this time to sit and look, and that's like no
And Pinterest.
I would do the same thing. I would change my mind 100 times if I had 2 years to
We're
look.
women. We're women. That's what we do. When we were born a woman, that was God giving us the right to change our mind.
Yes.
In Pinterest helps us change our mind every day. When I do my design and decor meetings with my brides, I tell them, we're not doing, I know you're excited about flowers and decor. We're not doing it until 3 months before your wedding, maybe even 2 months, because by then you'll have sent me all of your vision. We'll have created a couple vision boards and we can really finalize it, narrow it down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not doing it a year in advance, honey. We're not doing it.
Yeah, I know. I'm always like, "Let's just get a general idea, pick the company that you wanna work with, let's get on their books, and, like you said, a couple months before the wedding, we're gonna sit down and really actually design your floral plan and your colors and make the final decisions a couple months out, because they
It's
should be
true.
able to look and change their mind. That's our
I
right.
It is all right, and I had the luxury of doing florals for 15 years,
Okay.
and I love floral design, and I started doing it because of that reason. The brides were driving me crazy about it, so I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna start doing florals," and I added it in, and I started doing it for many, many years, and I since have, scaled back on that part of it as we get older and our businesses grow and we get into many different things. I now have great floral designers I work with, and I love them dearly because I appreciate what they've gone through.
Yeah.
But that was part of the reason that I started doing it because of those reasons right there.
Mhm.
It was easier for me to change it for myself than it was to have a whole another company change it on their proposal.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's something that I'm always trying to explain and work with them of like, look, you can change your mind. If you change it drastically, the price that you got quoted is going to change. But, you know,
They don't understand that.
they don't understand. It's a hard balance. It's a lot to
Yes.
explain to them. Um, we kind of touched on it before, but like luxury, what do you feel makes a wedding truly feel luxurious?
The attention to detail. I think that's really important. We can all say it's getting married on the beach or in Palm Beach or the location or the name of your venue, but it's not. It's your guest experience. It's the attention to detail and it's the little touches. A welcome champagne when they get there, that feels luxury.
Mhm.
Valet parking, that feels luxury. It is exceptional service. That's luxury. All those little things. So when you're looking at your venues, find out about if they're doing in-house catering. Does the staff work for them? Or are they hiring an outside company? And these people have never worked at the venue before.
Yeah.
What's the uniforms of the staff?
Yeah.
Do you require them to wear a tie? Or my wedding is an evening wedding. I don't want them in a polo shirt and khaki pants.
Yeah.
So I think nobody ever asked that question.
Yeah.
And as a planner, I ask that question. So my
Yeah.
brides are always like, I never thought about that. Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Um, but those are some of the things that really make a big difference in creating that luxury feel.
Yep. I agree. And the thing is, some of those things, they're not when it's done correctly, they're not noticed. When they're done incorrectly is when they're noticed. Like when
Always.
it's when there's valet and then they're greeted with a welcome drink and the servers are dressed properly, like people will be like, "Oh my gosh, this feels amazing," but they might not be able to pinpoint why. But when they're at the wedding and they can't find parking and it's a nightmare, they're
Yeah.
upset. It doesn't feel luxurious. When they're thirsty and there's no drink, they might.
Or the line is an hour at the bar or their
Yeah,
champagne is hot and they're going to notice all of that. And
exactly.
unfortunately, it falls on the venue. So from the venue side, helping them rebrand and do things, I always say the bride's going to tell you she can't afford to do this or she doesn't want to spend the money on it. But you as the venue need to understand that every guest sitting in that room is marketing.
Mhm.
Every guest is your next potential client, not for a wedding always, but it could be for any venue, for any type of event. And sometimes as the venue owners and as the planners and as the vendors, you're going to have to give a little bit. Make sure that if you feel like that champagne when the guests arrive, then you need to give it to the bride. You need to make it included in your package. You need to
Yeah,
stand out to the guest and I think a lot of venues miss that opportunity. They forget the bride didn't pay for it. Guess what? The guest sitting there didn't care.
yeah,
They think the venue is at fault.
yep. And that's even for me as a planner. I've had conversations lately. Literally just yesterday, I had someone kind of arguing my package, and they're like, "I just want you to show up the day of," and I was like, "I don't do that."
Yeah.
And
No such thing.
he's like, "Why? Like, I just want you to show up the day of. We can have a meeting or two prior." But and he was asking me all about like what I do prior, and he's like, "I don't care about that. I don't need that." And I'm like, "But I do because what happens is if I don't talk to the vendors prior, if I don't talk to the venue prior, if I don't review the timeline in detail with you guys, if I don't do everything that I do on the wedding day, every time there's a little like hiccup, whose fault is it going to be? Mine. Like it's
Oh,
going
your wedding planner missed that detail.
right,
Oh, your wedding planner missed that detail.
right.
I don't even offer day of
No,
anymore. Number one, there's no such thing because what are you going to tell your client? I love these packages where we start 30 days out but you signed them 6 months in advance. But what happens when the client calls me? The bride calls me. Am I going to say, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you? No, I want to talk to you. I want to welcome your input. I want to be part of everything from the beginning. Because we want to make sure when we get there that day, we don't walk into, words I can't use right now. And that's what happens. It's a
Mhm.
big thing.
No, it
Very important. And the other thing is don't let them tell you they have an on-site coordinator. I'm a wedding planner and I work for Amrit, but I'm not your wedding planner when you book this venue.
mhm,
I have wedding planners I work with, and I love my wedding planners. And I have to be attentive to the venue needs and to the other needs going on with staff.
mhm,
And this is just human nature. If there's fires in the kitchen, I'm back there dealing with the fires in the kitchen and the other things so your event goes off nice. I'm not there helping you with what you need and what you deserve the day of your wedding. And no venue should tell you that they supply a venue coordinator
yeah,
that you don't need a planner. Red flag.
yep,
Stop. All bets off. Put
mhm,
the brakes on and do not believe that. And I'm sure I'll upset many people with that. But as a person that helps venues rebrand and does different things, and I have multiple venues I work with, this is my home right now and I love it here. But at the same time, that is something very important that you need to know as a bride. You do not rely on the venue coordinator, they work for the venue.
yeah. I Could not agree more. I have been hit with that many times of like, "Oh, no, I think my venue has a coordinator." I'm like, "I hope your venue has a coordinator." Like, yes,
Yeah.
I hope your venue has a coordinator, but they're not your planner. They're not going to be reviewing the song list with the DJ and, in the bridal suite, helping you get dressed, putting your veil, like all these things that me and my team do. And
Yeah.
I always have like someone on my staff attending to the bride, whatever she needs, like your venue coordinator is not doing that. Your venue coordinator is coordinating the venue and the venue staff as they should be. It's two separate jobs. Uh,
It's completely 2 separate jobs. Bridal assistant, I mean, I do put a bridal assistant in the packages for the venues, but again, that's not your planner. She's
mhm,
there to help you with your shoes and stay with you and give you water and drinks while you're taking pictures.
yeah,
She's your lady in waiting for all intents and purposes, like in Bridgerton.
yeah.
But she's not your planner.
No, not your planner. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
How can couples create a memorable experience throughout the wedding weekend?
Back to making it feel like a retreat.
Yeah.
Add those experiences, and they don't have to be expensive. Like I said, we have Lala here. Do a before your rehearsal, a little get together, and you can just offer a signature cocktail. You can offer a little charcuterie board. Again, it's just everybody getting together prior to the rehearsal and then having your rehearsal dinner. Welcome gifts in their hotel rooms, little gift bags. Don't go crazy. We're Florida. Put oranges in there, put some sunblock in there, a really cute water bottle. You don't have to go crazy. Put
Yeah.
something fun and different in there. Put the hangover kit in there. Put the fun things in there that aren't super expensive, and you honestly can create all of that from Amazon.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be, the cute bag with the tissue, get little stickers on it, and that's it. It doesn't have to be over the top. The welcome cocktail parties we talked about, farewell brunches. That's like really nice when all your guests are done and they saw you that night at the wedding. Everybody had a few drinks. Get together with them the next morning, have brunch. Make the whole thing an experience. Leave for your honeymoon the next day or later in the day, whatever it might be. Spend some time with your family and friends that flew in to see you or made the trek, drove an hour to see you.
Mhm.
Um, Another cool things that people are doing is the caricatures.
Yeah.
Love that, and my favorite is the perfume altier.
Oh,
That is, like, been super cool, but, like, those little things that add to it to make it feel like these huge experiences,
mhm.
so coffee bars, those are amazing,
Yeah.
um
Just love little experiences, exactly what you're talking about. I
Mhm.
mean, I agree, the live painters, the any, like, little activity, and, like, spend your money on those guest experience that kinda double like, some of it doubles as, like, decor, entertainment, a guest experience, like, it might seem small, but it's so fun and definitely elevates, the whole weekend, and, you know, I feel like weddings, I mean, I see all the time, it's people friends from college coming together who haven't seen each other in years. It's family members who
Yes.
live in other states coming together, so they're not
Photo booths.
looking for
Photo booths are great. I love the traditional photo booth.
Mhm.
I don't like the Polaroids. Let's skip the Polaroids, and I don't know why people are afraid to take those little Polaroid selfies and stick them in the book. Doesn't happen. Don't do it. Just
Yeah,
do a photo booth.
always they're always stuck all like, left all over the table.
Mhm.
Times
And expensive. That film's expensive.
it is. I've caught myself before during the reception, like, once all the formalities are done and everyone's just kind of partying, there's that, like, little lull where I'm like, "All right, let's stick," like, to my team, I'm like, "All right, let's stick these in the book," like, so that the bride can
Because
have
they
a
won't
good
get done.
I'm like, "Well, we have, like, 10 minutes to just let's help her out," but I don't know why people never stick them in the book. They can't figure it out or they don't
They
want
don't, and then I get a lot of people that, they can't even put the film back. "Oh, it's out of film," and they just leave it there. Or the camera's floated around somewhere and it's running around the room somewhere.
or they change the film and they leave the trash all over. I feel like
Mhm.
every time there's a Polaroid thing, I'm, like, collecting trash or telling my team, like, "Keep an eye on that, make sure there's not trash all over the welcome table." I'm like, things that
Or they put their cocktail plates right there by the card box, or their garbage, and it's like,
Yep,
"Really?
yeah,
No."
things that you don't think about, but as, like, planners, we
That's what your wedding planner is doing, she's picking up the trash.
yeah,
That's why you don't notice it.
yep, things that they don't realize. How has guest experience become a larger priority in the recent years?
I That's a hard one. Guess now, I'm gonna be honest, coming from a wedding perspective, like a wedding venue perspective, and if we were speaking to wedding venues and wedding vendors, your guests leave more reviews than your bride does.
Mhm.
And I've seen it to where venues will get hammered with a bad review, and it's by wedding guests.
Uh,
And again, the venue had no control over what the bride selected or what the bride did, but they felt that it was the venue's fault
Yeah.
and they should be the one that knows more. I've had planners get hammered by the bad reviews because they feel like they were the expert, they should have known. Um, so it's really, really important when it comes to the world we live in now with social media, the marketing and the reviews. They can post reviews everywhere. They can, now TikTok, you can advertise on TikTok now and not have to advertise anywhere else,
Yep.
and the big conglomerates, the Knot, Wedding Wire, not a big fan. I feel like you could do otherwise, but they go on there and they post their reviews.
Yeah.
So I think you need to invest more in your guest communication, guest experiences. Um, you know, Wedding guests are becoming very powerful ambassadors for venues and wedding vendors.
Mhm.
It is definitely happening. I'm seeing more and more venues put guest portals on their website, which I think is amazing. That's a new trend where the guests can go in, they can RSVP for the wedding, and they can see all the rules about the wedding.
Mhm.
And then these venues and wedding vendors, even the planners now are able to get those guest portals on their site. So that was like a new thing I've been working with a company doing. And it's
Awesome.
amazing because you now have all of that, all those emails. You have a
Yeah.
whole new way you can market to people and it brings them to your website, brings the traffic to your site, not the night, not the not Wedding Wire. That's a whole nother topic with marketing. So I will not go crazy into that because I can go crazy into that. And it can go sideways very
I
fast,
know
but
that that is a very, heated subject in the industry right now.
it is, and that's another part of my business I do. So when it comes to, I do a lot of traveling with the wedding nerd, and we do a lot of that, and have developed so many different programs to help venues and wedding planners,
Yeah.
actually build their business better and be smarter about it, more strategic.
Yeah.
But we've realized over the years, it's guests. It's
Yeah.
guests that are posting more reviews. How much are you chasing your bride to get that review? You don't get that video at the end of the night with her, with her drink in her hand and sweating and half drunk, saying how wonderful you were. You're going to be chasing her for weeks
Yeah.
to get that video,
Yep.
or to get that review. I went as far as one venue, we gave them gift cards and we told them your gift card and acts for your anniversary dinner, if you post a review. There's so many different things you can do, but you have to come up with all these creative things. But guess what? The wedding guests are posting reviews.
Yeah. That's that's very true. And,
And it makes your stars go up, whether it's the bride or the guest.
that's true. It's very true. And it's funny because I a lot of times there's things that happen at the wedding like that the bride and groom don't even know about. It's really like your guests are the ones seeing everything because the bride and the
Mhm.
groom, I mean, of course I want them to enjoy their wedding day, but a lot of the times they are like they're not out at the ceremony as everyone's walking in. They're hidden away.
Yeah.
Cocktail hour. Sometimes with the first looks and stuff these days, they are at cocktail hour, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're out doing photos or they're doing or bustling a dress so they're not always there for everything and they don't experience everything that the guests are experiencing. And some people get upset about that. Sometimes that's just the name of the game. But the guests,
Cocktail hour is not really for them, right? I try to tell them it's not really for you.
right.
But those little details that we tend to forget are if they're waiting in line forever, make sure you ask your venue, say, can you at least just stick an extra bartender on for the cocktail hour at the beginning? Ask for that. Don't be afraid to ask for it because as a person that works at a venue, if you tell me you're contingent on signing the contract, if I add a bartender for cocktail hour, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
They're going to give you those things. Don't be afraid to ask for those things.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. What wedding trends are you seeing often right now?
Content creators. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of the top one, wedding content creators. Um, that's a tough one too, because you really don't know. Is this somebody's, uh, you know, high school girl or college girl that, because she makes cute videos on TikTok, she suddenly now you can give her $50 and she's your wedding content creator. I don't believe that. I do believe you need a professional content creator. You need to see what they've done. Really pay attention. Don't skimp on that if you really want it.
Yeah.
I think it's a trend. I think it's a luxury item. I don't think it's necessary. Don't take money from your photographer and video team to hire a content creator. A lot of your photographers are adding it into their packages. Take it. If they're adding it in their packages, do it. Trust your photographer. I definitely don't go on Facebook Marketplace and look for, a content creator. I don't think that's the way to go. Interactive food experiences during cocktail hour.
Yeah.
I think don't do it during your reception. It takes away from your reception.
I
But
agree.
cocktail hour, oh my gosh, who doesn't love a mac and cheese bar? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Fun thing where the chef is making stuff. That right there, great experience. It's not super expensive to do if you plan for it in the beginning. Sustainability initiatives like with florals. There's a lot of companies that'll come in and pick up your florals and you can
Yeah.
donate them.
Mm-hmm.
St. Jude's, all these different hospice. There are companies that come in, pick up all the florals, they repurpose your florals, and by the next day, they're making somebody's day.
Yeah.
And you gave back, um, and you get a write off, but it's not a big deal. But you get this letter, and it's just so amazing. Also, floral preservation. Food is now becoming art.
Yeah.
If you're doing a plated meal, ask for pictures of what their plated meals look like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. When it comes to food, the presentation is super important.
Yeah.
Your guests will remember what the food looked like. It may not have tasted that great, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, it was so pretty." And what are they doing? What is the first thing, Sydney, they're doing when they get their food? What are these people doing now when you're at a restaurant?
Take a picture of it.
I mean, that is
Grab half the
social
dessert.
media gold.
Yes. Yep. I
So
totally agree.
I mean, when it comes to that, that's it. That to me are the most important things I'm seeing that are like new trends. And I mean, taking pictures of your food probably isn't a new trend, but it is in the social media world. You want people posting pictures of if they thought enough to take a picture of it, it was one, either it looked really bad.
Yeah.
I'll take pictures of my food that's really bad and I'll post it online. Or if my food looks beautiful and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you take a picture
No,
and you tag everybody.
Mhm.
You should have QR codes in your bathrooms. As your planner, you should be giving out your card with QR codes to guests that are there like, "Oh, you planned this event." Yes, I did. Here you go. And you want them talking about you. We just don't take advantage of that
I
enough.
know, that's true. Even as you were talking earlier about getting the video with the bride at the end of the night, sometimes I get shy. I don't want to ask them for it, but
I
it's
know. It's a big
true.
problem. We all have that. They don't think we're shy, but we are.
Yes.
We are, and we're tired.
Yes.
Our feet hurt.
Especially the end of the night of a Florida specifically wedding planner. We're hot, tired, sweaty, hungry.
We are, and we don't, most of them, I've seen ones that leave. I don't leave. I don't leave till my bride leaves. I'm there to say goodnight and goodbye. I put cake in their limo or their car. I put food in their car because I know I was that bride driving through Taco Bell in my limo because I didn't get to eat, you know? So I'm putting food and rations in their back of their seat before they go, and I'm hugging them before they leave. And sometimes we're in a hurry to get them out of there. So I personally love the videos, but I forget.
Yeah.
I
No,
forget. I try to put your assistant in charge of it. I try to put my assistant in charge of it, and
yeah,
and
that's a
she's been
very
pretty good about it. But
good idea.
there's so much going on at the end of the night, and sometimes you can feel the bride out, and she might be the one that'll do it. But then other times she's so hammered. Let her go.
Yeah, exactly.
She might not like you tomorrow if she sees that video
That's
online.
true. That's true.
So you have to be smart.
Maybe we need to do it like a little earlier in the night, but
Maybe after after the grand entrance,
yeah,
something like that. You try, but
yeah.
yeah.
I know. I need to be better about it. I've had a few times like I'm helping the bride with something and the photographer's there and I'm like, "Oh, wait, like can you take a picture of me with her? Let me try to
Yes.
get in this."
And your preferred photographers get you.
Yes.
That's the other thing. Use the preferred vendors that your planner recommends. I'm sorry. Don't go AWOL. If your planner recommends them, one, you're going to save money. Two, they've worked with them and it's such a well-oiled machine. We're not saying that your vendors are bad. I'm not saying any other vendors are bad, but I can't control that I've worked with this DJ for 10 years or this photographer has shot 500 weddings for me. You
Yeah.
know, they know what I like and love, and you booked me based on what you saw on my Instagram. So trust me when it comes to that, you
Yeah.
know, and that's a big thing I could tell brides all the way around when I see them posting things like, oh, what should I do if I ask your venue what their preferred list is? You
Mhm.
don't have a planner, then you need to look at their preferred list.
Mhm.
Always go by that first.
Yep.
And I think a big thing we need to stop doing is letting people pay to be on that preferred list.
Yep. That's another heated topic.
Another whole big topic, right?
A whole big topic because I've seen like I've gotten lists from venues and whatnot, and I'm looking through their preferred vendors, and some of them I'm like, wait, I know this person. They just started their business like a few months ago. Like, have they worked here? And they're like, no. And I'm like, "But they just paid to be on this list. They've never even worked here. I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
I've worked at this venue how many times and I didn't pay to be on the list, so I'm not on the list. But
I have a venue like that too, and they've tried very hard. I'm like, no, I'm still getting calls. I'm good. I'm not paying to be on anyone's list. You
yeah,
don't invite me to be on your list. I don't want to be on your list. I want you to want me on your list.
I
And
agree.
I very strongly on that.
Yeah, I
Very strongly.
I definitely agree. Because it it matters, it matters of like reputation and experience, and you don't want to pick a vendor that just is paying to be on a list. Like you want someone that actually knows what they're doing. It makes a big
I
difference.
think that's a good question for brides to ask. I didn't think about that, but it really is a good question for them to ask. Did your vendors pay to be on this list, or have you actually worked with them numerous times?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a big thing. And I one venue in particular that does that, and I can't tell you how many times that brides will tell me, "Oh, I hired all their vendors on their list." Great, wonderful.
Yeah. And some of those vendors might be great, but it's not a true.
Some I never get lucky enough to get those, but you know, it's unfortunate,
It's
but, you
not
know,
a.
and everyone there's so you know, I have a love for wedding vendors in general.
Yeah.
I'm very, very loyal, very loyal. I'm loyal to planners. I'm loyal to my rental companies. I'm loyal because I know at the end of the day when I need something or something goes wrong, that I've been loyal to them, they're gonna back me up.
Yeah.
It's like family. Your vendors are like family, and if you're not treating them like family, you're doing it wrong.
Yep. I totally agree. I totally agree. When you were saying like you want to be there to hug them bye, and I'm like, yeah, like I've said bye to some brides where I'm like, wait, I'm sad. Like we just spent a year talking all the time and planning, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I miss you. Like we're friends. I'm like, can we like hang out outside of this?
Do you have a lot of them? Like, I have a lot of them I'm still friends with. I've done their baby showers, and I don't do baby showers or anything like that anymore. So in my young planner days, I used to give my brides a free baby shower.
Oh, that's so
Eh,
nice.
isn't that so sweet? But you wanna know how many baby showers I was doing in a year? I I was doing more baby showers than weddings at one point,
Mhm.
and they were free. So I was like, "Well, this was a great idea. I did think it through. Lesson for me."
Yeah.
No,
Maybe
no, can't do that
I.
anymore. And they were all getting pregnant. I suddenly became the good luck chuck of babies. Like, they were all getting pregnant within the first year, and I'm like, "Oh, this is
They're
not
like, we have
happening."
a free baby shower like card to use. We got to use it.
Yes. I
That's
think
so
that's what
funny.
it was. They were like I'm like, "You guys know you had time, right?" I didn't
Yeah.
but I really yeah, it was great, you know, but no, I don't do it anymore. But it's one of those things where I have some are still on my Instagram but they're your best referral source.
Yeah.
I've had brides where all their bridesmaids, I did all their weddings. She had
Mhm.
like 7 bridesmaids. I did like 7 weddings back to back. It was great.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing all the same people. It was like a family reunion. The last wedding was just this year.
Really?
Um, and this has been going on over 10 years. So some of them I hadn't seen in 10 years. Like one of my brides was there. She has 4 kids now.
Oh my god.
You know, so it's so amazing to see that. You know, I think trust those referrals. I think if you have a friend that's telling you use this planner or do that, trust your referrals.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah. That's so fun. That's so cool. Um, what are some common mistakes couples are making when they're selecting a venue?
Mm. I think that they are choosing it solely based on price instead of the value and the overall experience. Forgetting weddings again are a luxury. And I know we all have a budget to work within. I'm not telling you to go and say, I want the breakers. That's it. My budget's $25,000, but I want the break. Well, that's not going to happen. We know that.
Yeah.
Like, when I say it, I'm being realistic, but at the same time, don't base it solely on the price. Pick venues to look at that are within your budget. Let's not do unrealistic expectations. But when you're looking at those venues, this venue might be $3,000 or $4,000 more, but did it give you value?
Mhm.
Was the guest experience and your experience going to be great? So I think that's really important. Um, find other places that you can cut with your planner to give you that venue you want.
Yeah.
And, if you haven't picked your date yet and you need to move it out a few more months to save up a little extra money, by all means do it. It's far worth it to do that.
No, I totally agree. I was touring a venue with a couple just last week, and it's funny because like her mom toured the venue, but the bride herself hadn't been there, and so she finally was able to go tour it herself. It's already booked, and we had been looking at a few others, and there was one that was a lot cheaper, but she was like, "I just don't like it, whatever." And when we were touring it, I was like, "I'm so glad you picked this one." Like, it's a little bit more money, but because of that, like, it is so beautiful from the moment that the guests step on property, their whole experience, every hallway that they walk through, like, everything is just an elevated experience, and you're getting so much more for the money that you're spending. So, yes, you're spending a little bit more money, but you're getting so much more out of it.
Yeah.
It's just so worth it, and the Amrit property is another example of that, of, like, from the moment you pull up to from the valet, you walk in, like, everything's beautiful, the bathrooms are nice, like, that's another big thing that people don't think about. What does the bathroom look like? How many stalls are in the bathroom? Are the guests gonna be spending half your wedding in line for a one-stall, like, bathroom? Like, it sounds little, but it makes a big difference. Are the bathrooms
Big experiences. Are they going to be clean during the wedding? How many bathrooms have you walked in? They're a mess or they're disgusting or no one changed the garbages and things like that. Those are all things you have to think about. And when you're booking, weddings like places like the Amrit, there's full housekeeping 24/7,
Yeah,
so that's super important to think about. And pictures, that was a good point. Pictures. You want to pick a place where you're not restricted.
yeah,
A lot of people think golf courses are great and country clubs are great, but guess what? You're restricted. You can't go out on the golf course. You want to get hit in the face with a golf ball? I
mm,
mean, and you just can't do it. And some of them won't allow you to go on this place. And you see this beautiful picture online. I
yeah,
want that picture. Oh, we don't allow people to go there.
yeah.
But I booked you because of that picture. So double check those things. I mean, those are I could name you a list of places that do that.
Well, I've found it
And
where it's like they basically booked us a tea time of and, like, they stopped all the golfers around, but it's like, now you have 10 minutes. I had one where this family, I swear it was 40 people in these family photos that they wanted on the golf course, and we're, like, rushing family in, and I'm like, "This is just not it." Like,
it's
this
not
is
fun.
not fun, not the vibe. Someone in the family was running late, and, like, the golf course guy was like, "Nope, you're out of time." Like, it was just, like, not the vibe, and it's things that you don't that people don't think
They don't think about. Yeah.
in advance.
So pictures are important and asking those questions and making sure that, if your venue tells you we love photos. This is what I tell my brides. I love photos.
Mhm.
If your photographer has found a unique spot to take a photo, I'm all in. I'm
Yeah,
going to do everything I can to make it happen because I want that photo. And as vendors and venues, if you're not putting it in your contract that you get the link to the photos, you are really doing it wrong.
yeah,
You need those photos. If they came on your property, every vendor should sign a vendor agreement.
uh,
Vendors shouldn't be allowed to disparage no matter what's going on, and they should give you those photos. You want those photos.
yeah,
So important.
I agree, I totally agree. Well, I know that this property is like we were talking about with the spa, it's very, like, wellness focused. How
Mhm.
do you feel that wellness and hospitality, like, influence modern weddings?
So much of wellness is happening now. I mean, think about it. Red light therapy. I
Mhm.
mean, all those things, yoga. There's now a new trend called wedding yoga.
Mm,
And Amrit has, I wish I could tell you the name. I don't know exactly yet, but I'm working on scheduling that for a really cool retreat. But he's 80 years old. He's been doing wellness yoga for his whole life, and he has a specialty one. I think it's Dr. Yogi. And he does one that if you do the yoga class, he guarantees your wedding will last longer. So there's like all these things that are new trends and fun, different things. And listen, let's be honest, we're all looking for unique things and different things to do.
Yeah.
I told my husband the other day, I said, maybe if we did the yoga now, we'll last another 25 years.
There you go.
He said, if you get me to do yoga on the beach, I'm not going to live another 25 years. So, it depends on who it is, but those types of things are really fun. You're doing, wellness classes. We're promoting connection. We're promoting relaxation. And if you can give your guests and your bridal party, even if it's just your bridal party, this whole wellness weekend, you did something for them that's unique and different.
Yeah.
Your girls can go from red light therapy to hyperbaric to facials to massages to just day pass and Ayush. It's amazing. You can do the whole hydration circuit, salt therapy, steam rooms. I mean, it's just to me giving something that is never thought about with weddings.
Yeah.
It's never really been thought about until I came here. 25 years in the business and I never thought about incorporating wellness into the weddings.
Yeah. No, but it's a big part. And I think it all goes back to that like guest experience and the feeling of a
Mhm.
wedding, and not just the guest experience as a bride, your own experience of, do you feel calm and relaxed? And are you actually
Mhm.
enjoying your weekend? And I think it's overlooked sometimes, but it's really important. Like, go get a massage the day before. Like, maybe if you don't
IV
trust
therapy.
the facial or something the day before, please don't do
Yeah.
that. But
No, 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 avoid that.
no new crazy things the day before your wedding. But go relax and enjoy, and your bridesmaids, and like when everyone is like calm and happy, and you know
Mhm.
the wellness, it makes
B12 shots. You went out the night before. You've been having fun. Hop up there, get IV therapy. You'll
yeah.
be nice and energized for your wedding. You'll have B12 shot. You'll feel great.
Mhm.
Offer it to your guests.
Yeah.
I have a lot of dry weddings now where they want mocktails. They
Yeah.
don't want the alcohol served. We do wellness shots,
Yeah.
those types of things. Most places won't allow shots at your wedding. We will, wellness shots,
Well,
something unique and fun. And gives them that little energy boost at the end of the night. So I think there's just all these really cool things that the great thing about it is most people haven't experienced it yet.
yeah.
So if you do have your wedding at Amrit, you would be the first one to, probably put that out there.
Yeah. It's very cool, and I think that it makes a much bigger difference for the couple and their guests than people think. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I ask everyone who's on the podcast, do you have any wedding day horror stories?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The most crazy one I can think of right now is the cake that never showed up. At 3 o'clock, wedding starts at 4:30. My assistant's like, the cake's not here. I'm like, what do you mean the cake's not here? The cake should be delivered, right? So the cake baker in mention put the wrong year on the invoice. And so I had to race to two different Publixes in the area. And I was in the back building a wedding cake.
In the back
Yep.
of the Publix?
No, I was in the back of the venue.
Oh,
Once
the
I
back of
came
like
back,
you
I came
brought.
back with like a couple different tiered cakes and bags of frosting. And me and the caterer were in the back building a wedding cake. Yeah.
Oh,
That was probably a crazy one for me.
I hate
I mean, we've all had like things. For some unknown reason, if anything happens with the cake, it's always me. That's always my horror stories always centered around the cake. I
I
don't know why.
I hate cakes. I mean, I don't hate wedding cakes in general. I think they're beautiful and fun, and I
I
hate.
hate dealing with them.
I don't want to touch.
Anxiety,
I don't
right?
wanna touch it. I don't want to place the flowers on it. I mean, I have a million times, but I don't want to do it. I hate it
Hmm.
because it's one of the. I feel like I can fix a lot of things.
But I can't fix that.
I mean, you
Well,
did.
I don't know. I did it.
You did. You did it. Maybe I should start learning how to bake. I feel like as a wedding planner, I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to sew. I need to learn how to bake. I mean, I feel like I could do photography.
Therapy, photography,
Yeah.
everything. We become counselors.
Mhm.
Um, I can't tell you how many times I've had brides and grooms that get into a huge fight or with the mother-in-law or and then you get the call and you're like on the phone with this one, you're on the phone with this one. And
Like
it's like,
the two
oh,
mother-in-laws fighting is a fun one.
and the bride telling you, "Please don't let this one do this. Please don't let this one do this." I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
I
Luckily, I have 2 girls that, I went through the whole teenage years,
oh,
so I get it. Now I've got grandkids, but, it's, I
yeah,
understand the
I
family dynamics.
family dynamics are tough. I've had people tell me like, "Oh, don't let my uncle drink." I'm like, "How am I supposed like, I can't tell him he can't drink," you know? But it's always interesting, but that's crazy that the cake didn't show up and you had to, build the
Yeah,
cake yourself, but that's what planners do is we fix everything.
we do, and honestly, they would have never known if I hadn't said a word.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you don't sweat the small stuff.
no.
If you have no control of it, your day is still gonna go on without a hitch. Um, you know,
I had
it's
one it was a Catholic ceremony, and it was I think they were Colombian. I hope I didn't mess that up. I think they were Colombian. There's some tradition with, like, coins in a Catholic ceremony, and they, like, bless the coins. Anyway, I'm sitting in the back of the church. All of a sudden, I see a bridesmaid just slowly, like, go around and walk towards me, and I was like, "Uh-oh, like, why is she coming towards me?" Anyway, she comes towards me, she was like, "The coins are on the bus." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "The coins are on the bus." And, like, "Okay." So I, like, run outside, I call the bus driver. We're on Palm Beach Island, um, and so there's, like, no parking at this church, and so I call the bus driver, I'm like, "Where are you?" And he was like, "I'm, like, a block away," and he was like, "Ah." So I run to the bus, and it's raining. I'm like, "I don't even care." I run to the bus, search the whole bus, can't find the coins. They told me it was, like, in one purse or something. I'm looking, I can't find the coins, like, I go back, and I'm like,
now you're having a panic attack.
Yes, and the ceremony is actively happening. I'm like, the priest is about to be like, "Please bring the coins up."
Present the coins.
Send the coins, and they're gonna be like, "I don't have coins," you know? And so I, like, run back to the church, and I'm like, "I don't like, where are they?" And she was like, "Just get the" it was like, "Get the Gucci bag, whatever." And so I, like, run back to the bus, get this bag, bring it. I literally, like, hand it to the bridesmaid, like, to a bridesmaid on the end, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Just pass the bag down." And, like, they pass it down, and, like, as the priest is like, Please present the coins," is, like, when it was the bride's mom who was gonna bring it up, is, like, when she got the bag and was able to grab it, and I was like, "Oh,"
At
and
that point, yeah, you're, like, ready to you need a drink.
I was, like, unwell. I was wet, it was raining, I was exhausted, like, it was so much, and then we did the reception elsewhere, and at the very end of the night, the bride is, like, had a few drinks, she's munching on an empanada, she was, like, happy as can be. Her bridesmaid was like, "Do you know that Sydney ran, like, blocks in the rain for you today?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, it's okay, don't tell her." And they're like, "No, she needs to know." And anyway, but it was like, I felt in that moment, I was like, I did my job because
Yeah,
the bride had no idea. The bride had
that's
no
it.
idea, and that's, uh, what what
How
would
many
you
times have you had to play bouncer?
Yeah,
More than we can count, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have to give couples one last piece of advice, what would you like to tell couples?
Communication is everything. You have to be honest with your planner. You
Mhm.
have to let her know, let or him, whatever it might be. Very, very important. There's 2 people that are in your face all day at your wedding. One is your photographer, the other is your planner. If
Mhm.
you're not comfortable with them, it's going to make a pretty bad day.
Yep, I agree.
So, to
I
me, that's what you need.
I totally agree. Well, I appreciate you coming on here so much. I feel like you and I could talk for hours.
I
Uh,
think we could.
I think I know I'm like, I wanna follow up with you, on a few things that you mentioned just, like, on the business side. But where can listeners find you and the resort?
So if they go to amritontheocean.com, and then they can personally email me. My email there is very long, but you can reach me at harmonevents@gmail.com, just to keep it simple.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Wedding Buzz. This was, again, so fun. I feel like we could talk for hours. The property is, I've been there myself. It's absolutely stunning. Well, I really appreciated your time and all of your insight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.